My name is Juwel Rana. I'm heading analytics department at Varner. Those of you don't know about Varner, Varner is one of the Nordic best fashion retail. It has more than 1,400 physical store, but we are also very focused in digital area. I'm going to talk a bit about one of our current project that we are still working on, learning a lot of things within the area of personalization. What's personalization and why it's important to think about? So we see a lot of campaigns, emails getting almost every hour, right? And many of these emails we even don't open because it's boring. And we think it's boring because we don't know why uh, sellers send this to us. But then, with the help of AI, we can actually think a bit differently. So, before telling you what we're really doing with personalization to make our product more interesting to the customer, so we are building ourselves quite heavily, as well as investing, as well as learning, as well as producing solid tech stuff. And here is kind of inspirations when we see Amazon. They do digitize their processes, no matter what kind of services they are actually offering. Is about what kind of customer they are actually buying, and what are the interfaces a customer is actually going to have when they're going to interact with their services. So they try to put AI, artificial intelligence, in all of those interfaces, and they're trying to get advantage out of it in terms of time, in terms of forecasting, in terms of support, in terms of sales incentives. So that's how their way of thinking about digital retail, to make everything AI-ish, as well as solid as digital as possible, and take away all the manual legacy processes from the loop that can actually make things more time consuming, makes things more robust, make things, sorry, less robust, and something like that. So here is actually the game changer, right? That how you are actually putting AI in your digital retail, and what are the interfaces you are actually serving through AI, rather than just thinking it as a just like a sales channel. So when it comes to AI, people think that it's all about computer vision, sensor fusion, cloud computing infrastructure, deep learning. Yes, in some degree it is. Of course, when we see how Google do AI, or how Amazon do AI, or how Facebook do AI, it's all about this, right? It needs a heavy infrastructure. It needs super talented people. It needs a huge investment, deep learning of deep learning itself. So, so this is reality. But at the same time, if we see, we have cloud computing, right? Offered by Google, offered by Amazon, and many others. And the game-changing part is that using cloud, you can actually have almost all the technologies that we talked before. In a way, uh, the big tech companies are actually utilizing it, meaning that technology is no more obstacle to establish. or build your product or AI product that you want to build without too much thought around investing. So, in our opinion, the challenge remains in actually thinking that data as a strategic asset, because you have to think first that is asset. Second, understanding full potential of AI rather than thinking that, okay, I want to just improve the sales, or I want to improve customer satisfaction, or I want to improve supply chain. Not really like that. Make value driven AI investment rather than just thinking about technology. Think from a whole organization perspective, not necessarily only tech people need to use AI or understand AI. It should be actually a common understanding should be accelerated through whole organization. Be agile, take risk, do a lot of small testing, and then of course try to be reach on the top in AI innovation curve. That's what it is. So how we see AI analytics journey at Warner. So at Warner we have this four focused area: customer analytics, market trend analytics, store profiling, and then product performance analytics. So this is like the four core area. And today when we talk about personalization, personalization goes actually in the customer analytics area. Within this four area, you see that we build a lot of capability. And when you talk about capabilities, actually that is very organization focused. So that the whole organization is actually be capable with using analytics and tech products. The organizations also ask for their needs, that what kind of tech products that they are thinking about, the use cases, the problems that should come from them. We also want to build capabilities so that the corporate leader, the decision maker, they get timely insights, what's going on and what kind of decisions they should take, as well as we want to build some sort of AI environment where AI pilots, you can design, you can land, you can initiate it without a lot of thoughts or without a lot of bureaucracy that, oh, when, what, how. So this is what we want to achieve here. When it comes to performance KPI, we have quite a few here mentioned, because everything you need to, you should have some sort of KPIs, because that's what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So here we try to figure out, okay, fine, how many AI functionalities, for instance, we're delivering on an organizational level, how many models we build and it's productionized and it's creating value, insights. So, or many dynamic reports, because you don't think that sharing insights in PowerPoints have any value any longer. And number of experiments, number of pilots we are running on a daily basis. So even though I'm working more than 10, 12, 15 years with analytics, but but in my imagination, I always say it in a very, very, very simplistic way. So what is analytics? So you will collect data, you will see some sort of basic performance. You'll try to understand it a bit further. You want to explore what works, what doesn't work. And based on your judgment, you try to predict what kind of situations this data might be able to forecast. So you will build some sort of model, and then you will evaluate the model, and if you see that it's performing well, then you will share the insights, and you will act on those insights. So that's more or less like from basic to advanced, whatever it is, you need to follow this kind of trend. So in a small settings, you could have some sort of data lake where you put all kind of source data and then you create different pipes. Sometimes you call it like an email pipeline. Sometimes you call it like just like basic analytics pipeline where each of the pipes produce different analytical outcomes. Sometimes it's for customer segmentation, sometimes it's for customer profiling, sometimes it's for CXM performance reporting. So this is like how we at least are doing analytics within Varner. So here is an example of customer segmentations. So you can think about this small recipe of revenue, then the frequency, then monetary value. But even those simple recipes, using that you can create a bit of complex model. But you need to make it complex model, but deal with complexity. You need to always consider that it could be handled by the end user. So we always fine tune this to that how advanced we want to be or how advanced the business is actually capable of accept to implement it in market. So performance reporting, how you can actually ensure that when we do campaign, we can actually understand the performance of the campaign based on all sorts of sales channel, not only just like e-com or not only just physical stores, all kind and unified it in a way that the content creator, the marketer, or whatever the entities responsible to ensure these things, they have the informations they are looking for, because that's how you want to help your organizations. That's what we talked when we say that what's needed to make your organizations more AI friendly. So we developed a lot of this sort of performance apps to make sure that everyone understands everything. Okay, so now I will talk a bit on the personalization part that we're supposed to talk today. So in personalization, we started working early this year, and we actually got a bit of pressure from the external environments. Lots of consulting firms here and there, they're asking us to, are we doing personalization? Are we doing personalizations? It has at least 5 to 15% revenue growth. This sort of, so we have been challenged by externals, and we said that okay, fine, if it's that's promising, then why not we give a try by ourselves. We will try to implement this project. So we follow McKinsey's recipe to build it, this 4D. So data foundation, decisioning, design, and distribution. And to do that, we build some sort of agile team with lots of data engineers, data scientists, market specialists, as well as content creators. And it's a really worked well. We are learning and we are building the whole competence that we're supposed to do. However, like to build any complex, to implement any complex project, if you don't have plan how you want to deal with complexity, it could fail easily. So our approach was very straightforward. We want to set some sort of strategy. We want to get our customer interested about the product that we want to sell, and then we want them to see that they are buying. That was like what the goal is about. And then according to that goal, we set 12 weeks of plan, and within 12 weeks, we says that, okay, these 12 weeks is show all the relevant products that these customers like to buy, and then make them eventually buy, rather than, being very much interested with the one particular product and showing, rather than we think about what the customer actually feel, how they can uh, develop their interest over a period of time. Since they are a loyalty member, they already give us consent to send them marketing content, all those kind of informations that we need. They already give us demographic informations, what I mean here. Also sales transaction data. So basically, you have a lot of information that you need to make really right recommender engine if you want to. So here was our setup. We use Google Cloud environment. We put our algorithm in a way that it runs, it scales, and then we create different types of APIs so that we can actually communicate with the content delivery engine. Here, content delivery engine is actually Agile, and through that we start pushing personalized content to our customer. So the algorithm was not that easy to build, and it will be more complex over the time, so to speak. But what we do, we create a lot of algorithms to discover different things. One algorithm is designed to find out what kind of product customer may like. Another is about color, what kind of color this customer may like. Another is time, which time the customer like to read this type of content. How often the customer like to open the content. So all those kind of variables we want to put into considerations, and then we want to make some sort of journey for the customer, so that in a way that they started to looking at the content, knowing the product, and eventually end up buying the product. So all this algorithm groups, we are calling it reply, because it actually flows one after another, one after another, one after another. So even though we build a lot, but we've found a lot of complexity, and we're dealing with that step by step. Currently, we're trying to find, for instance, right context of recommendations. For example, the algorithm thinks that these customers like this at this time, but do we really know why? So we are trying to figuring out why the customer will like that, and then we will be able to put like more syntactic meaning of that why when we phrasing some sort of content in some sort of email or some sort of communication metaphor. So that's what we're trying to achieve. We want to name, for instance, in the image you see different blocks. We want to give them different name, that this is why you are seeing these blocks. Another thing that we are right now is actually dealing with, for instance, how you can create some sort of dynamic behavior in your content delivery engine, so that you can set the different content in a way that it doesn't look like the same template you're using again and again. And then the second thing is about, even though sometimes you want to use some sort of preset templates, but then how you can actually figure out that which customer like what kind of template, and you want to use that template for that customer without giving them some sort of boring type of experience, that they feel like, oh, it's the same content, or it's the same structure, the same layout. So we are working a lot with get and feel kind of uh, and a lot of UX involved in this process. And while we are talking here, it's a AI conference, but you think that the AI product should be focused on end-to-end perspective, because if we miss out that part, then even though algorithm could be very useful, but it might not bring the right result. So What we see from our initial pilot's perspective that results are promising. We do some sort of comparison between what personalized content is actually uh, bringing in terms of non-personalized regular newsletter. And when you compare these two, you see that, okay, fine, of course, it's a pilot and it's a small group, but it still looks like personalized content brings 25% a higher conversion, which is really good, right? It's 20% higher, and open rate is also 10% higher. So that's is just an indication that personalization works, but we need to do more heavy experimentations so that we can confident about the consistency of uh, of the result as well as the reliability of it, because we need to close a lot of gaps that we see is there lives, and we need to work on that. So what at Varner we are doing, we are applying AI, we are learning, we are developing product, we are creating value, and our aim is to offer deep customer insights by analytics and AI-driven services, so that we can be very strategic when it comes to take business decisions, as well as when it comes to serve our customers in the most satisfied and effective way. Thank you very much. You can always reach me with my email or phone number in case you have any questions.